This is Mick Foley.
Former WWE superstar Horns over here.
This is Dave LaGreca from Bustin' Open.
I am WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion, Gilbert, and you are now
somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring.
Somewhere in the ring. Have a nice day.
They Frankensteinered me for the first time. Which I thought was an appropriate way to kick things off. I will wrestle with them often, and then he was like, Dada, pick me up, put your my legs on your shoulders, and I was like, oh, like a power bomb. And he's like, yeah. So I get him up there, and then knowing that he doesn't want me to power bomb him, like he's clearly got something else in mind. But all of a sudden, I get him up there, and he tightens his legs around my neck and starts flinging backwards. So I was like, okay, and I went with it, and he just Frankensteinered me out of the bed.
We have a Braun Breaker fan in the making.
Honestly, dude. I was trying to remember. I was like, how did you know to do that? And he was like, you showed me, or like I saw on your phone or something. I was like, okay, I guess. You never know what's going to stick in their heads. Never.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. No, as long as he doesn't go doing it at school, that's
well, we are like 2 months away from finding out if that's going to happen. So 2 months away from finding out if they are going to wrestle at school, and from me being inconsolable for an undetermined amount of time. It's gonna be that's gonna be rough.
We're concerned. Your son has been doing Frankensteiners at ballet class. We're not exactly sure.
But I'm just gonna be like, well, how's his form? Like, how is it? Was it a good Frankensteiner? Is he being safe? Is he taking most of the damage? Because then, look, what do you want from me?
The kid who broke his neck. Now, would you say did he sell it well? That's what I need to. Oh, it is so good to be back, buddy.
It is.
I was this close to putting myself on the alumni page of the Somewhere in the Ring website, but little inside WWE.com baseball.
Baby. We're back. Better than ever, ready to talk about what's going on in the world of WWE. And we were almost at a time where I WWE and AEW, but I think because there's one thing about AEW that we have to talk about that is going to, which I will get into in a minute, about a prospective guest that I think we should try to get, that may be impossible to get, but we'll see. But also, this is Somewhere in the Ring, a podcast where we talk about wrestling. I'm Andrew Sanford. This is Ryan Sprague. We're back together after quite some time. But look, we're going to get into the current state of things. We're going to give some predictions for Night of Champions. And we're just going to catch up a little bit. Again, you already know what's going on with me. One of my kids can do a Frankensteiner now. So
I love it.
That's where I'm at.
I'm back home in Scotland after about a 2.5-month stint in Canada. I won't get into it, but a lot of crazy stuff happened. I ghosted a lot. I was ghosting, and it was a profound experience. It was a beautiful experience sometimes.
Amazing.
But I can't wait to go back already. But I also am excited to just get back into this, man. Like, our reviews, like, you held it down for so long, and I love episodes that you put out. I know our listeners do too. So, but I'm excited to be back and talk a little Night of Champions. But
that's what I was gonna say. When we talked about it earlier this week, I was like, let's wait until Thursday, because who knows if Night of Champions is gonna actually happen.
We still don't know as of this recording. I mean, it's pretty much confirmed.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much if anything, now there would have to be some massive tragedy to keep it from happening, which would be awful and which we obviously don't want. But I think it's as much as I think our political leanings are we're not shy about that. But we do try to keep politics out of this most of the time. Sometimes it's very difficult. And a time that it would be especially difficult is if the president of the United States is doing joint military attacks on a Middle Eastern country while the WWE is going to have a show in the Middle East. So there was a solid 24 hours where people were Fightful was reporting all these people, there were WWE employees stuck in Qatar, because the airspace was cut off. It was scary. It's scary stuff. And what's even wilder is, according to Fightful, as of today, WWE had never planned to not do the show. Which, like, I get, it is also like terrifying to a little bit, to an
It
extent.
is.
So
Yeah.
it just kind of is what it is. There was too much at stake. They talked about how this will be the only show in Saudi Arabia this year.
Okay. Good.
And that it's the last show there before the Royal Rumble takes place there next year, which I forgot was going to be the case.
Oh,
So
that's right. Yeah.
yes,
They're
yes,
getting
yes.
a PLE finally. Yeah.
And then
Crazy.
CM Punk will be in attendance on Saturday, which was a huge deal.
We got to get into that. Yeah, I've got some
No, hey,
feelings,
look,
but-
I will be right up front and say something that at the end of the day, when you sign a contract to work for somebody, there are certain rights that you give away or certain things that you give away. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there are people going. Okay, let's start heavy because I think you and I talked about this.
Just go there. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it.
Because there's this idea there. I've seen people call CM Punk hypocritical, which I would disagree with. I understand why people are saying that. I think you can still criticize a place, but then go there on behalf of your employer. I think that's part of like what makes free speech in our country very important and speaking out about other places. But I think it is also one of those things where I can understand people being like, but why? Like, I'll be honest with you, I will probably end up watching Night of Champions this weekend at some point or another. I don't think I'm going to watch it live. I have watched some of like matches from some of the other ones, but I do not think they should be going over there. And it just kind of is the way of business. And it doesn't look like they're going to change it anytime soon. So that's kind of part of it. What has driven me crazy is people calling WWE a MAGA company, not like this. I think like it's new, like it's news. As if the WWE hasn't been an openly conservative leaning company for decades. Like, come on, guys.
There are videos of Triple H shaking Donald Trump's hand in the last 6 months, even.
It's not like nothing's new. Linda McMahon is the Secretary of Education. Right to censor existed. Like them being like, oh, these like censors and stuff. These people that don't want you to see, like, it's like
one of the best factions in WWE history. Though.
Crazy, but it's like it is ingrained in right wing criticism. Having Trump on before, having conservative politics, like having Arnold Schwarzenegger on right before he was running for governor. Well, no, that was for End of Days. But still, there is just always. I remember I was listening to something recently that was or watching an older pay-per-view where they were trying to promote. I don't know if you remember this, but they were trying to get Al Gore and George Bush to have a debate on SmackDown.
I did not know that.
Yes,
no.
I remember that very strong, and they were pushing it like in a similar vein to like when Lorne Michaels was like, we'll give if the Beatles reunite. And that's not a good. See, when I try to do the Michael, if the Beatles come back tonight, we'll give them $6,000. Like that was a thing that Lorne Michaels did, and Paul McCartney and John Lennon were up the block and almost came. Like, but it felt very similar to WWE trying to like when WWE was trying to get Al Gore and George Bush, but there was still. I was watching a pay-per-view, and Lawler is just going off on Al Gore, like during the commentary at one point. Like it's always been clear. And I love what the wrestlers at AEW have been doing and have been allowed to do. And to be clear, CM Punk was at one of the No Kings protests openly.
Yeah.
Like he is
in Chicago.
Still, yes. And he is wearing like t-shirts and stuff. Supporting school unions and the No Kings protests and things of that nature.
He's flown trans flags in the ring.
100%. That was during his time at AEW. To be fair, when he flew that trans flag.
Good point.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but just in the sense of who can speak out about what and when.
Mm-hmm.
WWE wrestlers, you might see them doing it less, but there are still plenty of them that do. And AEW has a bigger focus on pushing inclusivity and pushing. I bought one of the shirts that Brody King put out that say abolish ICE on them with his figure, like with his picture of him as a luchador on them. I thought it was incredible that he wore that shirt on national television. If people think that the company owned by a man whose father owns the Jacksonville Jaguars is not a Republican, I'm sorry. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's not be naive here. Like, there is, and that could be for any corporation that you like. There's probably something that they are doing that is bad. Something. I love Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball has an untold amount of skeletons in its closet. Like, there is just things that you just have to come to terms. You can come to terms with something like that and still enjoy it. You can fight against something and still take part in it. Like, that's just that it is all nuance and things like that in politics. So that's me getting that off my chest.
Oh no, man. I mean, you're talking
tirade I did not think I was going to launch into today.
No, I'm glad you did, because I mean, I was a little upset with the CM Punk thing at first, but two things. One, you're talking to the guy who's on a show called Ancient Aliens that says that non-Europeans are too dumb to build like these incredible things throughout
That's
history.
True. Oh
So,
boy. Oh
yeah.
boy.
Oh, I am very open about the problematic nature of the Ancient Aliens television show. Yet I'm on the show because I am employed at the time by the show. So I understand, like, there are things you cannot control about a business you work for. This is case in point. CM Punk is has been rehired by the WWE. He's having the greatest time of his life right now. Like, you can't, it's hard. It's hard. And also the story they're telling with John Cena being like, oh, you want to fight me? Come to Saudi Arabia, the one place you said you would never wrestle. Yes, I am ruining wrestling. I'm going to ruin your perception of this guy who you guys think is so virtuous and this and that. I love that, like, they can use this situation to their advantage with story.
Sure.
And it has made me fully believe John Cena is a heel now, that he would make this man question his principles and go over to Riyadh and do this. So it's really interesting how they're kind of painting all of this, you know, with the brush that they are.
And just so we can keep that, let's keep this train rolling, because today is going to be like a smorgasbord of things and
no outlines, baby.
We are just picking stuff, and then we're going to give you Night of Champions prediction. There is one thing that I asked Ryan to prepare ahead of time, which is the only tirade I thought I was going to go on. But for right now, let's talk the John Cena pipe bomb.
Yes, please. Yep. We did talk off air about this a little bit when it happened.
Yes, because they had a situation where they even set it up similarly. Like CM Punk going through a table like Cena did the last time, like all this stuff to set up the pipe bomb. However, like, there is something about calling it a pipe bomb that feels almost disrespectful to me. Like, it makes the older one feel less special. And I am all about mirroring what happened between CM Punk in the past and what has happened in CM Punk and Cena in the past and what's happening between them now. I think that's great. That's the juice. That's how you get the most out of that story. And it's not like Punk's pipe bomb wasn't planned. I think he didn't tell. He has talked about it. He talked about it on WTF with Mark Maron and in other places. I think maybe he didn't tell them exactly what he was going to say. But at the end of the day, he went backstage and he said the first thing that happened was he saw Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon put his arms out and said, "I smell money," and gave him a big hug. Like, so like but that was also like during the last remnants of that kind of kayfabe era. Like, the last time that you could really do stuff like that and people could question whether or not it was true. I would have almost preferred they say, like, John Cena mocks Punk's pipe bomb.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when I first watched it, man, sorry to step on your toes there.
No, you're not.
I was all about it. I like texted you. I'm like, oh, did you see Cena's pipe bomb? And then, you know, as you usually do, you bring me back down to earth. You bring me back down to earth from my hot air balloon.
Taking the wind out of people's sails. Come on.
Yep. Every time. But what I did was I watched that, and then I went back and I watched the CM Punk one. Then I watched his again, and you're right. It's almost beat for beat the same. The way it was set up, if you split screen those and push play at the same time, that alone is impressive. That
I love that.
Cena,
I love
yeah,
all of the attention to detail and stuff.
yeah.
I'm all about. I'm all about
However,
them doing it. But yeah, keep
yeah, I think mockery is the key word. I think it would have been better if it had been a mockery of the pipe bomb rather than Cena kind of being proud that he had done this pipe bomb. So,
right. Yeah.
you know what I
Like
mean? So, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Because it's also it didn't. I think Cena is doing great right now. I have been on board for his heel run pretty much this entire time. He's an incredible actor. Like
Mhm.
even more so than a wrestler now.
Yeah.
He's a very good actor. And yet, like the whole, hey, Matt Cardona, hey, Nick Nemeth, hey, that stuff just felt insanely inauthentic.
It
Like,
did.
insanely, like,
Stu, zoom in on me, Stu. Come on, zoom in.
that. Okay, now hold on. That stuff I like.
You like that?
Because he's also there have been behind the scene footage. I think there was one specifically of WrestleMania too, of him talking to Stu. Stu's usually the guy
Oh, him
that's
and
like up
Stu are
front.
like this. Yeah.
And I
That's
love
right.
that. I love any time like any of that breaking of the foot. That's the stuff where I'm like, oh, there he is. Like, and it's tough because you want to like give Cena something authentic to do by also but also mirror what's going on. You're kind of trying to like please two masters, and that's hard.
Right. It's hard.
So while I'm like I am dialed in for their match, I wish that I wish there was a little bit more authenticity to that. Just as much.
That's fair. Yep, totally. I mean, either way, I think it's set up nicely for what we're going to see at
Yep.
Night of Champions, and I'm really looking forward to it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
We should also talk about Liv Morgan, the tragedy that has been bestowed upon Liv Morgan with her.
We got two
freak
injury tragedies.
Oh, do we?
Oh, sorry, technically 3.
Oh
that
my
should be a
gosh.
hint. That should be a hint. I'll reveal in a
Okay.
minute.
Let's start
Liv
with
Morgan. Let's start with Liv. Terrible. She is one of the best heels working. Her and Dom are incredible together, but she is so good. She has some of my favorite facial expressions in the ring. Like, she's so good at selling, so incredible. To have this happen when she's just like at her prime is devastating. Devastating.
It is. Especially with Evolution coming up. She was going to be literally the poster child, I guess, for Evolution. She had like 3 different storylines going at the same time. She is the hottest thing right now. I would say comparable to Rhea Ripley on the women's side of things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then this happens. Like, just
especially because Rhea is just kind of like
shoulder
floating right now.
She is,
Sorry.
yeah.
Can you still hear me? Somebody was trying to call me and it still goes to my. Okay, good. Screws up my computer when that happens. Anyway, Rhea's kind of, it feels like she's kind of like floating from storyline to storyline right now. Like, I feel like they don't. I know she's going up against Raquel Rodriguez in a street fight, but it's just.
I'm with you.
I feel like they don't have anything like really solid for her currently. So yeah, Liv is incredible, and if you see the footage too, wrestling injuries look horrendous because especially when you see like the look of like shock on people's faces.
Like, well, to hear her scream, it reminded me so much of Zoe Stark a few months ago. Like, that's when you know a wrestler's injury is real. Like, they're shrieking in this almost like animalistic, like, somebody help me. Like, the muscle just literally came off my bone. And you can't act. You can't fake that stuff.
No. It reminds me of, as most things do. I forget which episode it was, but there's a Simpsons episode where a clip of an acrobat, like an Olympic acrobat or whatever. It's not acrobat. Doesn't matter. It swings on one of the poles. I'm knowing all the technical terms.
The aristocrats.
Lands on both feet.
That's all I thought of. The aristocrats joke from 20 years ago. Sorry. Anyways.
It's okay. It's okay. Lands on both feet. You hear a snap, but he's still standing there like this, and he just goes, ah! Like, it's just And like not to make light of what's going on, but that's like what I think when that stuff happens. Because there's nothing else you can do. You're just gonna scream. You're just gonna scream. So that happened with Liv, and now Chad Gable is gonna have to have surgery next week. And in a completely unrelated case, Grande Americano also has an injury and will be out for some time.
Wait, they both got injured at this. How, like, that's just
Hey, freak accidents, man. That's wrestling for you. That's wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think we can draw any conclusions there. But
sending my best to both of them. I
Mhm.
can't even imagine what both of them are going through separately in different hospital rooms, different family members visiting
Yeah.
both of them.
Yeah.
My best. To
I
both
am.
of them.
That being said, obviously, I think what's even more fun about that is it could not be Chad Gable under that mask, and this is still the correct move to make.
Yep.
It is still the correct decision to keep the storyline going. So I
Absolutely.
think that's really fun. And on the plus side for both of these is that when people often get injured at this kind of height, when they come back, like coming back from an injury with the correct hype around it, maybe with a bit of surprise, can really like push people over the edge to the next level. We saw it happen with Triple H.
Yes.
We've seen it happen with plenty of people over the years. It helps. So
Now, a question for you. Let's go with Liv. Do you
Mhm.
think they should keep her on television? I mean, it's not an injury that's bad enough that like she can't at least like show up eventually, Do you think keeping her in story, would this enhance her? Would it make her a baby face? Or do you think time away is best for her right now?
I'm always, because wrestlers go so hard for so long, I'm always just in favor of time away if they can swing it. Like, why
Yeah.
not take advantage of it? You know what I mean? Give her some
Good
time to just like rest, do something else, like live her life a little bit more, recharge them creative juices. I also think it would make the return more impactful.
Yep, I would have to agree.
You know what I mean?
think
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been going nonstop for the past 2 years now, I would say.
Yeah, and I think she could. And we've seen, like, Punk got injured during the Royal Rumble and was still around for a lot of stuff. And I
Mhm.
think that it's really like a case by case basis. But I think with him in particular, it was like, no, we just got this shiny new toy back in our box. We are not like putting it away right now. With her, I'm like, just give her the time off. Give her some time. She's been working her ass off. It
That's
went
true.
from like doing this, went and filmed a movie, and then came back and was wrestling like it was nothing, like just bah, bah, bah. Like, and they even the movie. There was a time, and I'm actually wondering about this because there was a time when being in a movie would like so thoroughly take you out of wrestling on TV that it was worked into some wrestling video games in the storylines. I remember there was a SmackDown game where you could choose to go do a movie at one point in career mode, and it would take you out of the ring for a certain amount of time.
Wow.
And Jade Cargill is supposed to be the bad guy in a Jonathan Majors movie that is filming this summer.
Okay.
Yes. Which bad, not good. Jonathan Majors should not be working. I like it's all you need to do if people are unsure about how they feel about Jonathan Majors, listen to the tape of him telling his ex-girlfriend, like explaining why he abused her. It's horrendous. It's horrific. The man should not be allowed to keep doing his dream job. But that's the world we live in, and Jade Cargill is going to go be in that movie, and I think it's a bad move. I wonder, it kind of like impacts what I think might happen at Night of Champions, but also it might not, because apparently you can just go do a movie now and not be taken off TV. It's a lot different.
Times have changed, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about like people returning and coming back, getting a big pop and whatnot. We had a big pop recently, Andrew, with somebody who returned.
I know, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Asuka is back, baby. Woo! Yes.
Asuka.
Nothing else happened that night. Nothing else at all happened that night on now. Pull him up. Put his stupid face up.
Thank you for shouting out Asuka, though. Like, that was an awesome return. Really happy.
And I think it's pretty incredible that they both came back the same night. That was very funny to me.
Absolutely.
There he is. There's Goldberg. There's Billiam Goldberg.
with I want to say like an early 2000s pop punk designed shirt on. Like literally, I thought that was like a Newfound Glory shirt or like
I'm gonna look at it
Goldfinger.
closer on my phone because I didn't get to look because it looks almost like a Mad Magazine cover to me.
It
And
does.
that's so
It
funny.
does.
Yeah, boy, Goldberg's last what? Oh, what is it? Let me see if I can see it someplace else. Goldberg's last ride.
Last
I
ride. Okay. Andrew,
okay.
what? Yeah, come on, give it to me. What?
Okay, now I want to say right up top that I understand Goldberg wanting to have a different last match than the match he had against Undertaker, I think, in Saudi Arabia a few years ago.
It
That
sounds
people
right. Yeah.
was one of the worst matches in like WWE's history. I understand it. I get it. I get wanting to try to go back on more of a higher note. I also understand why Goldberg looks like this at hold on, let me make sure I get his age correct because I don't want to I just don't want to I don't want to get that incorrect. Hold on. Bill
I'm
Goldberg, Wikipedia, 1966. So he will be 59 in December. Okay?
59. Wow.
59.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
an older gentleman.
Mhm.
Things get harder like as you get older. That's just how it is. So he looks like somebody who is 59, who would be 59 in December. But I do understand why people would wonder why a 58-year-old man would be wrestling Gunther, one of the best wrestlers in the company, a man who demolishes people.
Best wrestler on the planet.
Best
Let's be
wrestler on the planet.
honest. Yeah.
He's so good, and he looks good, and he looks like he would manhandle people who are in shape, much less a 58-year-old man. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand why people would wonder why we're doing this. Bubba Ray Dudley is very much against this match and how they have set it up, and I agree with almost everything that he has said so far. There is no why there. There is no reason why Goldberg should deserve a shot against Gunther, no matter what drummed up nonsense they want to tell us about his, like, oh, I think he even said, because he has addressed some of this, saying like, oh, why, what do you mean I don't deserve a shot? Like, oh, The Rock and Stone Cold could come back and get a title shot, which, by the way, doesn't really happen. Like, and also when those guys have come back, they've been in good shape. Okay. But then the man went out of his way to say, of course I look like this. I'm 58 years old. We're trying to find somebody who doesn't look like this when they're 58. Okay. Yeah. When they're my age. Now, could you do me a favor, Ryan? Could you pull up the other picture I asked you to pull up?
Sure. You ready?
Yes. All right. That there is Monty Kip Sapp, AKA Badass Billy Gunn. Now, that is Billy Gunn right now. Would you like to guess how old Billy Gunn is, Ryan?
Oh my gosh. I don't want to venture a guess.
61 years old.
61 years old. Good Lord.
He will be 62 in November. By the time Goldberg is 59, Billy Gunn is 3 years older than Goldberg, and he looks incredible.
Best shape of his life. Yeah.
Best shape of his life. Still running around, being crazy, doing all these incredible things. And I have heard Road Dogg talk before about how Billy Gunn is just all about clean living and always has been. And that's just like, he just keeps himself rocking and rolling and it's still going. So it's just there's Goldberg again. It's a mix of things. If Goldberg was wrestling regularly and was in decent shape, like, no, not even that. If Billy Gunn showed up tomorrow at WWE with his Legends contract and was like, I want a shot at Gunther, I think people would understand that. But Goldberg walking in, being in the shape that he's in, expected to wrestle 2 weeks from Saturday. Dude. Oh man, I just realized I'll be seeing Weird Al when that's going on, so I won't even be watching it. Thank God. I know. See, sometimes the universe looks out for you.
Yes, it does.
I've had those tickets for months. It's just insulting to a certain point. There's
get
no
it.
point to this story. There's also he's wearing a shirt that says Goldberg's last ride. WWE is advertising it as his last match, and yet he's wrestling somebody who's holding a title. And when Michael Cole asked him if this is your last match, he said, "This is definitely my last match. If you win, that means you'd have to defend the title." And I guess Goldberg said, "Oh, it's an interesting dilemma, isn't it?" And it's like,
Yeah.
no,
What is that?
guys.
Yeah, come on. It's just
No.
so poorly planned.
This.
Why did it have to be for the title? Why did it have to be?
Yeah,
for the
Jay.
title?
They
I
could have had them
don't get
wrestle
it.
like imagine a world where Goldberg comes in and makes Gunter lose his rematch to Jey Uso.
Yeah.
Something. Just
Something.
something. Or if he strictly comes back and says, like, I forget, actually, Bubba Ray pitched like an idea of like, oh, maybe he comes back and he's not there for a match, but then Gunter comes out, is a jerk to him again, and then he decides that he wants a match. Like something just to go out, be like, I want a match. It's against Gunter for the title. There's no there.
Right. Unless there was like some super weird Money in the Bank situation going on with Seth Rollins, like Goldberg wins it and Seth is like, oh dude, I could take out this, what'd you say, 52-year-old? 58-year-old, excuse me. I think they have much more planned when it comes to Seth Rollins cashing in, but it would be interesting if that was how they solved this.
Oh man.
Goldberg winning a title. Like, can you see, we'll get to it in the predictions, but like, can you actually see Goldberg winning this match? I don't
Unfortunately, yes, honestly.
Yeah.
For a lot of, and this will become a part of the night, like when we talk about Night of Champions. Triple H in the Triple H era and his team behind him have done a great job of unpredictability.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And I think they are setting up certain storylines that are kind of intentionally hard to predict.
Mhm.
It is hard to decide who is going to win between the two of them. I'm genuinely not sure. Because I don't know what the mere fact that Goldberg's even there and is seen as like a draw for a Saturday night's main event is odd to me. But I don't work there. They clearly see something that I don't see. I also have a bias. I am so over Goldberg. It's insane. It's one of the first things I talked about on this show. And I loved Goldberg growing up, but it's not, I just don't see it. That being said, here's how you save this match for me, because I love, especially in wrestling history, things rhyming or whatever. And unfortunately, I don't see Goldberg doing this, but if he does, I will turn everything around. I will do a complete 180. Okay? This is my one condition. It has to be a squash. Gunter has to go out there and beat Goldberg in like 3 minutes or less.
Okay.
If that happens, hell yeah. Then it's his last match. He put over the best talent in the business, a generational talent, and he went out the way that he came in. He came in beating people in a minute. If he loses in a short amount of time in a squash match on national TV, boom. Then he doesn't have to embarrass himself. He doesn't have to wrestle a match with somebody who is in much better shape than he is. And it just makes more sense.
It does. I like that. And I think to top all that off, then he goes backstage and Bret Hart just happens to be there. And they finally hug it out.
And then Bret Hart kicks him in the neck, like with
I wasn't gonna go that far. I was gonna say they just both walk off into the Riyadh sunset. I don't know.
It's so funny to me that Goldberg is still. I don't understand why he keeps talking about that. Like he needs to get over it. And I'm like, you ended the man's career because you're bad at this.
20 years short.
Yeah, he doesn't have to get over it. Ugh. So yeah, I don't see that happening. It's insane to me that like one of the last like 3 or 4 matches that Goldberg has wrestled included squashing the Fiend, like squashing Bray Wyatt. Like that is just like a stain on both of their legacies, honestly. Right. And that was in Saudi Arabia. So I just don't know. I when he called out like being like, what do you want on this age? I'm just like, come on, man. Come on. Like nobody exists to Goldberg outside of the Goldberg sphere.
Yeah.
and it's annoying. And I just hope this is his last match, and he's done.
Yeah.
If it is a regular match and he loses, I will be indifferent. If he wins, I just don't know what the hell they're doing. And then if he gets squashed, I'm saying it right now, I will even come back on this podcast and issue an apology that he will never hear. You know what I mean? Not for what he said about Asuka, but for like most of my critiques about him will go out the window if he does something truly selfless in his last match.
Yeah, that's right. Now that I think about it, it was Goldberg who said that about Asuka. Like
Yes,
that.
yeah, that's what I'm
couldn't
saying.
even
That's what is so
pronounce her
funny.
name right.
They
Yeah.
came back the same night. Like
Yep,
it felt
yep.
almost intentional. They were backstage at the same time. There is a
That's
chance
funny.
they ran into each other.
Yeah. Ooh, I would have killed to have seen that. But all right, buddy. Anything else before we move to our prediction?
Yeah, I think that covers all
Should
the
we
stuff
do
that
it?
we're most
I
excited
think so.
about. Yeah,
We're caught up.
back in
We're
the-
caught up.
Back in the saddle.
We
Lots
are.
of
We
cool
are.
stuff going on out there. Night of
Yeah.
Champions, baby.
This Saturday, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, like we have
I
mentioned.
will be at a children's birthday party. A child I know, but I will be at a children's birthday party while this is
Thank
going
you
on.
for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem. This is going on in the middle of the day, but we'll probably watch it when I get back in. So yeah,
That's right. I wonder what time it'll be for me here. I got to figure that out.
I believe
don't
around like
math know.
7 because I think it's like 1:00. Here.
Oh, it's like a proper PLE for me. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Well,
Mhm.
Night of Champions, we got a bunch of matches. Wow, Ryan, the captain, obvious. We got some matches at a wrestling event, Andrew. More than
Look,
one.
there was a time where that wasn't always the case.
That's true. That's true.
Let's be frank. Woo!
Let's start with this one. We have Asuka taking on Jade Cargill for the Queen of the Ring tournament final. So, yeah, man, Asuka coming back strong, now making it to the finals for Queen of the Ring, going up against Jade Cargill, who's, grown quite a bit since we've last talked about her.
Mm-hmm. She has
Not like height wise, but I mean,
no, yeah.
her wrestling
She's
skills.
7'8" now.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
No, she has gotten a lot better in the ring. I love Jade Cargill. I love the package. I love the presentation. I love how different these two are as wrestlers.
Yeah.
I just I do not think that Jade Cargill deserves to be like Queen of the Ring, but I also need to get over like those titles meaning anything like they used to. It used to be a lot more important and used to mean a lot more. Billy Gunn was a King of the Ring. Stone Cold Steve Austin, like Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle. Booker T, Xavier Wood, and then there have been other
Booker,
queens.
baby.
King Booker. Like there is
probably one of the only people to ever give that thing the prestige it truly deserved, in my opinion. Yeah. And Steve Austin made his famous slogan.
Austin
at his
316.
King of the Ring.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I love Asuka so much. And I want her to come back and win. I think that would be cool. And she deserves that kind of I feel like damage control is not really a thing anymore. And she spent the last little bits before she got injured. Well, she was a tag champ, but Asuka should be going up against, the world champions and Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley and all these other, she should be right up there wrestling those matches. And I don't think Jade Cargill should yet. And so but I think it makes sense if they value Cargill to have her win this. So I just hope it's a very good match. I think Cargill's probably going to win. I would be very pleasantly surprised if Asuka does, though.
Okay. I am 100% mirroring you. I am so happy to see Asuka come back. Dude, for her first match back, she looks better than ever.
Incredible.
She wrestled better than ever. Love the new makeup. She's just awesome. Awesome. And she's having a good time. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
She's dancing to her own music. It's just, it's great. However, I'm with you. I think it's finally time that they're going to pull the trigger on Jade Cargill. I think she's going to win this match. But I do not. I want Asuka, but I think we're.
And I also, again, it might not matter, but Jade's going to film a movie towards the end of the month. So it's like, do you make someone Queen of the Ring and then ship them off for a little bit?
Interesting.
That might have changed the decision, honestly. I genuinely wonder what came first. But so that I think kind of throws a little wrench in there. It makes thing a little of a variable, if you will.
Okay,
So
gonna keep us guessing. I love it.
mm-hmm.
So WWE does best.
Yeah, that's it. Again, it is a one that feels like it should be predictable, but then isn't.
Cool. All right.
Just like this
I am excited for this. My man, Karrion Kross, is finally getting a match. Unfortunately, it has to be in Saudi Arabia. But I like this. I like this storyline that they got going. The devil on Sami Zayn's shoulder, and Sami's sick of it. So we have a non-title match happening between Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross. So what do you got for this one?
I think ideally Sami brings Karrion to the light side.
Okay.
Because I don't see Sami Zayn Breaking Bad, if it will, as it will. You know what I mean? I don't see him finally succumbing. I think the kind of power in Zayn's character is in his positivity and in he's just like a good, fun dude. And there's nothing to be gained by having him like finally cross the line. Not in the same sense that it would have been like when they had the whole Bray Wyatt against John Cena with him trying to get John Cena to break thing. That would have been impactful, but then COVID happened and all kinds of who knows what would have happened with that match. But I think there is more to be gained by having Karrion Kross being like a weirdo nice guy going forward than by having Sami Zayn like turn evil by the end. He could even like resist. I could see him like winning and like resisting and not doing the bad thing, and then it's just kind of over. But I think it could be really fun to see them like him force Karrion Kross into being a babyface, and then who knows, maybe he goes from being like Sami Zayn's like devil on his shoulder to like his biggest fan or something like a la R-Truth.
I love that. Yeah, childhood hero for sure. Yeah, I don't see Sami turning at this event. He is beloved in the Middle East, and so I mean, I
well, it depends on which part of the Middle East.
It really does depend on which part of the Middle East. Thank you for saying that. Yeah,
but, I am really. Here's the thing: I am interested to see the man's gear when he wrestles, because when he was pulling, he had a lot of support from Palestine on his trunks when he was wrestling in Saturday night's main event. Him and Punk both. So I'll be interested to see what he tries to get away with over there. A lot more dangerous circumstances, of course.
Very, very good point. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going with Zayn on this one as well. I think we both on the same page with that. Let's move to our next match that we have here. This is for the United States Championship. We have Jacob Fatu defending his title against Solo Sikoa. I'm just going to say this, man. I love this comedic role that Solo is kind of doing right now. Dipping his
crushing
back in. He is
rushing at it.
Where was this man for the past 2 years? Oh yeah,
they were hiding. They made him in it.
Yeah.
Well, they made him like an enforcer. It's so funny. First, he was like the quiet enforcer. Then he was just a Roman Reigns ripoff, intentionally so.
Yeah.
And now, it's like, he's doing such a good job.
Yep. If you watch videos of him at like house shows and stuff, like the way he interacts with the crowd, it is just, it's so just heartwarming and like family friendly, and I just love it. And then when he was mocking everyone's kind of like moves and whatnot at what was that at? Was that
Money in the Bank, right?
Money in the Bank recently? Yeah, just pure gold, pure gold.
He's just having fun. He's having a good time.
He's having fun. Yeah,
it works to his sensibilities. He's gonna lose his match, but it's
by the way, he's gonna lose. But
the only way I could see is maybe if like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa come out and finally return both healthy for the first time since they. Here is how little they have both been healthy at the same time in WWE. Have I told you this?
I don't believe so.
So in 2K25, which by the way, I just got to play as Abyss for the first time in any video game ever because he's
Abyss, wow.
a downloadable character in 2K25, which is really fun. I can also play as Shaquille O'Neal now if I want to, which I believe was a last minute addition. So, oh Jesus, I just lost. Oh, it's WWE 2K25. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are both in it. Is the first game they're in together. The tag teams in the video games have specific entrances molded to them coming out as tag teams, right?
Mhm.
Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, despite being a tag team, do not have a tag team entrance in WWE 2K25 because they just have it. There's nothing to draw from.
Right.
They barely tagged. Like
There's no footage of that.
Yeah, they just don't have one. Or if they do, it's not the default in the game. So they enter separately, which is insane to me. So, yeah, so very funny, but I think they could come back and help Solo win. Because I do think that in the same way that they sent Jey Uso on a meteoric rise, which I think is kind of coming to an end, which is kind of a bummer. I think Jacob Fatu is the next in line for that.
I would have to agree.
And he can't really do that with that United States title. They got to move him on to bigger things. They got to move him on to something else. So
before that flame goes out too. I mean, already, like everyone was all about him. And I'm not going to lie. I haven't been as excited for Fatu lately, but maybe this match will get that fire lit under me again. So.
Sure. Yeah, because it's still tied into bloodline stuff. And I think he could have moved on already.
Move on.
But they keep this going, and with the Jeff Cobb JC, what's his last name? What's his name on the show now? It's JC.
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. That man,
I'm just gonna call
no
him
impression on me.
No,
he's made no impression on me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah, give it time. So I could see also like Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa coming out and maybe helping Jacob Fatu. I don't know to what end, but you never know. But I think again, like Solo's probably going to lose this, but there is a world where I see Jacob losing as well. It kind of, but in like a non-clean way, and then moving on to bigger, better things.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree. Yep. All right, for our next match, Andrew, we had a Philly street fight. We had where was the last one? I don't remember.
Oh God.
Ocean City, New Orleans
right?
street fight. Yeah. We are getting a Riyadh.
Or no, Vegas. Fight. It was a Vegas street fight.
It was Vegas, yeah.
Riyadh street fight. Okay.
We got Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez.
Both these ladies about to be covered. One thing I will say about this is I really think Raquel Rodriguez needs to win this match. Needs to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think because otherwise, now they have an opportunity. I think she would have had to move on from Liv Morgan eventually anyway. But now they have their hand is kind of forced, and I think she could win this match, and it would put her over, but it wouldn't hurt Rhea Ripley. I don't think.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I am going to go with Rhea on this one, but I completely understand why Raquel would need that push right now. Because, I mean, I don't know, man. The crowds just aren't behind her. I think she's doing great work as a heel with Judgment Day. But, yeah, it's tough. I think...
Like, they have to have a hell of a match regardless. Like, no matter what, it needs to be a slobber knocker, as it were.
Yeah.
But I think Raquel needs to win this, or else it's just kind of a wasted opportunity.
Okay, cool. We'll stick with that then. I got Rhea, you got Raquel. Let's hope for the best, and let's move to our next match. We have got. Oh man, I cannot wait for this one. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the King of the Ring finals. So much we could say about this one.
I have no idea who's going to win this match.
Yeah,
No
I
idea.
was I
Honestly.
change my mind like every hour, and that's a
Mhm.
very good thing. Very, very
Yep.
good. I do think I think Cody needs it. I honestly do. I think Cody needs something right now because just like Rhea, I do feel like he's kind of in this nebulous area. He's
Mhm.
still like the one of the most beloved
Oh, yeah.
performers right now and
Mhm.
whatnot. But when he doesn't have the title, like I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't mind, like, I get that, and I also, like, I think he is still not having the title on him is almost like less pressure.
That's a
You
good
know what I
point.
mean?
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
what's going on with him, like, if he has the title, he's gotta keep being, like, um, like, gotta keep winning, gotta be wrestling, like, more actively, and it's not like he's not wrestling, but I just think that they don't need to put it back on him just yet, and I also, like, I am just not a big believer in the Cody Rhodes is gonna take the title from Cena crowd. Um, I get it. I
Mm,
understand it. I think that would be boring. I think that would be a boring choice. I think
yeah.
if you wanna do, like, a next generation person taking it from him, have it be like a Trick Williams or like a somebody who's, like, really, like, younger and could really benefit for that could dine out on ending Cena's last title run for the rest of for years before they even, like, get into, what makes them special individually or getting into their own stuff. I don't think Cody Rhodes needs to do that to Cena.
That's true. I do I would have to agree. I think this is a perfect time for Randy Orton to finally get his chance to go up
Mhm.
against Cena. And yeah, man, I don't know.
And
I don't
that's
know.
and that's if Cena has the title.
Mm, okay. Okay. Interesting.
I know I've spoken often about him needing it during the press tour, during for Superman and Peacemaker, which is the Superman one is going to really be kicking into high gear within the next week or two,
Yep.
because the movie comes out the same weekend as Night of Champions, so it's only 2 weeks away.
Mhm.
Um, but they also could just be like, all right, maybe he could lose and then he could just go do that.
Mm,
Like, I don't like him having the belt for the whole run isn't like necessary, I don't think. Um, so it's yeah, I'm not sure. I would much rather see. I guess I wouldn't mind seeing Cena against Rhodes again. I wouldn't, but I also don't want to necessarily see Orton against Rhodes again.
mhm.
Like, I think if I want to see Rhodes against Cena again, I don't need the title as part of it. Um, I think it should just be kind of like a knuckle drag, like throwdown fight. Whereas they could do something really interesting if Orton wins tonight and so does CM or that night and so does CM Punk.
Oh, wow. That's
Like, why not build
that's
towards some
crazy.
new big feuds? Like,
Heading
really
towards
lean into
SummerSlam. Yeah,
yeah.
for
Oh man,
sure.
Orton against Punk at SummerSlam, that would be
Oh,
incredible.
I love that. I love that. I'm gonna say, man, I got Randy Orton winning this one. But no
I could
matter
see
what,
it, yeah.
this is the match I'm looking forward to most
Yeah,
for
I
the
think so
night.
too. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been wanting them to wrestle for a long time.
Yep. Cody looks
Uh,
better than ever. That match he
yep.
had with Jey Uso is probably one of the
Oh,
best matches I've seen on
real
Raw
good.
in a decade. That was
Real good.
incredible. Yeah. Shout out
Mhm.
to both of them. Jay truly showed character in that, and that was just one of the best matches I've seen in a
Yep.
really long time, for sure. For
Yep.
sure. But I got Randy on this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just going to throw in an NA. I do not know who's going to win this. I think this is a perfect example of the predictable answer would be Cody Rhodes, but because it's the predictable answer, I think it might not happen.
Okay. That's fair. I love
Mhm.
it. And we have I don't know what match order there's gonna be, but I have this as the main event.
I think you probably nailed it, to be honest
I
with you.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We have
Yeah.
John Cena going up against CM Punk for the Universal excuse me, Undisputed Championship. So,
I
yeah.
think this will probably be the match of the night. Even though
Okay.
I think I am also most looking forward to the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton match, but I think this one has the potential to really go off the rails in a fun way that I think could be really exciting. I think R-Truth is going to be involved. I don't know to what extent, but I could also
Didn't even
I could
think
also
about that.
I could
didn't
also
even
see a
think
world
about
where R-Truth just comes out and costs Cena the title.
Wow. I love it.
You know? And
Yeah.
Cena is wrestling until December. That is 6 months away. He could always lose it and win it back.
That's true. That's
So
a lot of time. It doesn't seem like it, but that's a
Mhm.
lot of time for a lot of things to happen.
Yeah, but if Seth Rollins cashes in his money in the bank at any time, I think it would be for this match.
Okay.
I could easily see a world where CM Punk wins this and then loses the belt to Rollins immediately.
Oh my god, that would be gut-wrenching in the best of ways. Wow.
Because it just makes sense, and I think it would be gut wrenching. It would keep their feud going, which they're clearly still high on, and yeah.
The animosity is there. It always has been. It always will be. But they're professionals. They know what's best for business, and that
Mm-hmm.
would be incredible to see Seth
Mm-hmm.
cash in, get that title from.
And at
CM.
the end of the day, too, like
Wow.
Punk and Rollins haven't really had their full on clash. Just the
No.
two of them.
No, they did.
We
Was
haven't
it
even gotten it yet.
Netflix? Didn't they fight at the Netflix?
Oh, they had like
debut?
a Monday night. Yeah, they fought against each other on Monday Night Raw, but then like the next time after that was like WrestleMania, and it was a triple threat.
Right.
I might be missing some. There was some tag matches in there too, but I don't think we have had a straight up Rollins Punk since that Raw, and we still need a. I saw McIntyre recently talking about the Hell in a Cell match he had with Punk and how proud of it he was, and how incredible
yeah, it was
like it was to
incredible,
have like. And I think Rollins and Punk could have that exact same thing. We just have not seen it yet, and I think making it over that title would make it even more impactful and important.
Yep, agreed. And it would make, CM Punk losing at WrestleMania just means so much more to finally have, a title match for the undisputed championship.
And again, yeah, if he were to win that and then Rollins comes out and beats it, like it would up Rollins' heel mentality and worth, and it would just be it would be incredible. That would be something that I genuinely hope happens.
You're like a chemist over there, man. You're like, if we up the volume of
Yeah,
CM Punk's animosity and we put in a fourth of this, it will combust. Okay. Really bad joke. Anyways.
No, you crushed it, pal. You crushed
it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the pity pat on the back there. So you got do you have CM Punk winning this match then?
No, that's what I want. I think John
That's
Cena
what
will
you
probably
want.
still win.
Okay.
I think John Cena will probably still win. I think in a perfect world, a lot of things happen during this one match, but I think John Cena will probably win. I think that's
With
the safest bet.
Appearance by Ron Killings.
I think that is going to happen no matter what.
Okay, cool.
They did not bring that man back to not use him like as much as possible going forward. So I think that is probably going to happen.
Okay. I'm going with Cena as well. I just
nice.
I like what you're cooking over there in your beakers.
Yeah,
so,
like I would like I would get it. I would understand if Cena won. It wouldn't be my favorite choice, but I think it makes sense. But I also just come on. Throw something at me that I don't expect, even though I just laid it all out. I think even with those expectations, if something like that were to happen, it would still be great because I don't think they would do it.
Yeah.
No.
But who knows? Internet
We'll see.
for anything.
Yep. Just do not text me because I will be singing karaoke with several 11-year-olds before so yeah.
Kids Bop, baby. I love
deleting Blue Sky from my phone, doing all the things to protect myself until I get home and see what the heck is going on.
Very, very smart. Awesome. Well, guys, you can catch Night of Champions coming to you, I believe, on Peacock in the US. Netflix, everywhere else. What's up?
We got to get Zoran Mamdani on this podcast.
Oh, heck yeah, we do.
Fans, let's start a campaign. Let's start hitting him up. There was clips of him cheering on CM Punk at an AEW show from 2021 that
Well,
people were
did you
sharing.
see that Sami Zayn was trying to meet up
Yes,
with him
you told me
in New
about that.
York?
You told me
Yeah.
about that. Yes. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think it's out there. I think he's a wrestling fan. I think he should come on this podcast and talk to people who don't live in New York City anymore,
But are
who very
still
much
like
enjoying what he's doing.
supporting, the
Yep, still call it home. Still
respected
support
mayor.
him. Yeah,
Yep,
exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Yes, guys, if
Um,
you're watching this, tag him in all of your social media
Do it.
and tell him
Yes,
to come
please.
on Somewhere in the Ring podcast.
Boom.
We'll
Done.
get him some
That
votes.
has to work.
We
There
will
we
get
go.
him some votes.
At least
Yeah.
like 3 or 4.
Yeah. What do you got going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing. Y'all know where to find me. Just keep your eyes peeled. There's stuff in the show notes. I gotta go wake up the twins. So what about you, pal?
I'm back home, so I'm kind of taking it easy right now. I got some
Good.
travel coming up throughout the UK I'm excited about. But other
Nice.
than that, back to wrestling, back to UFOs.
Let's go.
Somewhere in the
Let's
Skies
go.
is going
Yeah.
strong, baby.
Yeah.
Back to doing live streams every Sunday. So you can catch me on the Ryan Sprague YouTube channel doing those. All the latest
Sick.
UFO news. But yeah, we'll keep everything going over here at Somewhere in the Ring, and we'll be back with our review of Night of Champions possibly next week. So yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I
and
would
we
say
have
that's a guarantee.
that's pretty much a guarantee.
Yeah, that's a guarantee. Yeah.
With some special guests coming up very soon in the near future as well. So
Love it.
be on
Heck
the lookout
yeah.
for that. Yep.
Boom.
You got anything to ring that bell, my man? I've got
Jeepers.
nothing over here.
Let me see. No, I see a yo-yo around here. There's a belt.
Okay.
Yeah, I got no bells.
All right.
There's not even. I should really have a bell on my kids' scooters, but I don't.
Let's play Ryan post-production roulette here. I'm going to put in a sound right here.
Pretty great, man. Sounded like it was in the room.
It was.
I mean, it was.
Ah!
Wait a minute.
It is. We got to go.
Stop
Okay.
it. Ah!